Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. Definitely been a cold week for a good majority of the country. And also too, just want to say, lots of thoughts and prayers of, and people make fun of that phrase or whatever, but honestly, for everybody out in LA dealing with the wildfires and stuff like that out there, definitely some of the dads who are in the network and part of other portions of fatherhood organizations, a lot of them have checked in they're safe and everything's good, but not everybody. There's quite a few that have also, it's not been good. So hopefully things get just taken care of the rest of the way on that, and people can start moving forward with their lives. So if you're in a spot where you just need to talk to somebody, this organization is great for an ear. So definitely
Absolutely.
listen. So don't hesitate to reach out to us on that for sure. Hey, we, like I said, are in this crazy cold snap, and
Right.
and we, it's funny we popped out. I'm like, I don't know what we're going to talk about today. Danny comes up with this great idea of looking into a gloomy country that. Sorry, I don't mean you know what I mean. Like most people, like you think England and Wales, that area there, and it's like, yeah, it's always like cloud covered
Yeah,
and
they don't see the
whatever.
sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they not as much, but I could be wrong too. I've never been there, so although I want to at some
Well,
point.
it's an understandable thing because the only thing you're presented with most of the time through movies and TV and what have you, and that's how the
True.
only visuals you're going to see of it is where it's just gloomy and dark and all the time. And I will say I knew what seasonal affective disorder was before I
Mm,
moved up here from Georgia. I did not realize what it was. And there's a difference in that when you're feeling it, when you're experiencing it. And now, my third winter here, I set myself up knowing that, okay, sometime about October, November, I'm going to get seriously depressed. It's just going to, and depression isn't something you're like you got an ache in your shoulder. You know what that is. It's immediate, it's obvious, but depression is just kind of a slow quagmire. And without planning for it and thinking about it, I find myself just doing nothing. So
yeah.
I thought because, and again, the weather, I want to say this because I'm proud of this because I'm from Wisconsin now. So it was negative 18 at 7:45 in the morning, and the wind chill was negative 35. Now, I will tell you that my little southern brain does not understand these things because the sun was shining. It was amazing. We haven't had any snow. It's just been completely dry. It's going to be awful for so many reasons. Did you know that, and of course, maybe you know this, but snowfall helps insulate the water mains. And then if you don't get enough snow, the water mains will burst because
That
they
makes
don't have
sense.
enough
Yeah.
insulation.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
their pipes are buried 8 feet down in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I just learned that they're doing a new standard is 12 feet down just to make sure. And I'm like,
I get it
okay,
below that permafrost.
right. Georgia's 2 feet. Just about everything's a minimum. You got to go at least 2 feet down just so that other people don't hit it with their shovel, I guess. But we don't have to worry about freezing. So my mind is just completely clogged up here with the idea of it being negative 18. And we closed schools yesterday, which I think was a great idea because not necessarily because of the roads, but because the diesel in the buses gels at this
It
temperature.
can. It can. Yeah.
And
That's why a
if
lot of
you
times you have to plug them in so that
right, and if
they're
you don't keep it warm enough, and we were off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday was Martin Luther King Jr.'s memorial, and they're like, well, Tuesday we're not going to be ready for this. Our buses are not going to be ready. It's negative 18, and we're just going to close the schools, which I thought was great because I went out. We ran out of milk. I'm like, yeah, I'll just run down to Aldi, get some milk. It's cool. No, 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 it was not cool. Not cool at all. It was awful, horrible, horrifying. And so I'm thinking about it this morning and I'm like, well, I'm going to Google, and that's the best way to do it. Give it a Goog of how to be positive and happy during this terrifying part of the year. And a lot of sites came up, but the one from Wales was just right there. And I love it. I'm like, yes, this is the place that I need to talk to about it because I feel like they have it worse than Wisconsin in some ways.
I was gonna say,
So
yeah, and we'll talk to the people in the South who are now dealing with snowfalls that they didn't expect they were going to be getting this
Florida,
year. Yeah, what the Florida?
what? How do you have snow in Florida? It just again blows my mind.
Yep. So yeah, and it's kind of all down the South. I mean, Texas, Carolinas, like I don't know if New
Hmm.
Orleans. I imagine. I mean, if Texas got it, New Orleans and Alabama, Mississippi, all probably got it
Mississippi, yeah.
in the South portions of it too. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people getting snow that wouldn't typically get it. I saw where I think it was in Alabama actually. You could tell like nobody had sleds, so they were pulling out totes. They're like, "We're going
Nice.
sledding, kids.
Let's do it. Let's figure
We're
out a way,
doing
right?
this.
Yes.
Whatever works." I mean, why not, right? Like
Hmm.
whatever works, let's make it happen and go have a good time with it. But yeah, definitely. I
When I
think
was
that
talking to Stephen Wenzel, and he's in southern Mississippi,
oh,
and they
yeah.
had too much snow because they had a snow day, and it's like legitimate snow. And I'm just like, you're in Mississippi, buddy. That what's going on? But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to mention that because
No, you're
I
fine.
read it
I
the
can
other day. I'm
just
like,
the
Mississippi.
whole time I'm just imagining like these like older folks from like Mississippi and they're like, "We didn't have snow back in the day. What y'all do to this place?"
Hmm. What is going on?
Well, Grandpappy, you know all that
Climate change.
yeah, you know all that coal and everything. He didn't, it had an after effect on it. So
Right. Right.
but no, seriously
So,
though, trying to stay positive in the colder months is definitely just it's tough. I remember when I was in college, when I moved here, when I had a professor who he hated doing grades in February because, like you said, seasonal depression, like that kind of thing. He didn't like it. So what he said helped him was if baked goods came with homework. And we were like, I live on a college campus, but by golly, I'm gonna figure out a
I'll
way to get
find
this
a
guy
way.
some chocolate chip cookies or some brownies. I need help too because I don't want to do these assignments any more than you want to. You
Hmm.
want to do the grading on them. So, but yeah, they thought that was an ingenious way for a professor to like get baked goods on
Hmm.
a regular basis. So, but yeah, there are definitely this list of 10 has some good ones on it, and then some ones that I'll definitely be scratching my head at.
Well, I think number one is easy because I think everybody talks about this part is get as much natural light as possible. And again, when the sun comes out, even like when it was negative, whatever, I went outside simply to just feel that light. And I stood in front of the window like 30 seconds later because it was too cold outside. So I went back inside and stood in front of the window and just like let that light hit you. Um, I know people who are maybe a little more hippie than me, let's say it, and they will go out with just shorts on, no shirt, no hat, no just shorts and maybe socks, I'm sure, and let every bit of light they can hit them. And they
These people
say,
also take ice baths, don't they?
I think they must. And they're like, this is very beneficial, and I look at it because I did get, I was gifted a therapy light and it's amazing. It's stupid how helpful this thing is. I get up in the morning and when I'm getting the kids ready or whatever, I just sit it over where it's in my peripheral and I get that light from it and maybe I can read or doom scroll or whatever it is while the kids because I let my kids get themselves ready.
Heck
I
yeah.
think
Heck
that's a
yeah.
life skill, right? They need to do this. And
Yes,
just
sir.
having it on the side. And I notice when I don't. It's really funny. I feel
Hmm.
like I'm a houseplant. I just need light. I need
Yeah.
light to survive, to thrive. So,
I will say though, it's hard to open up the like shades when it's cold like this though, because like that's what helps also like block the cold coming in through those windows.
mhm.
And so I find that early on in the morning, I'm just like, nah, the cave is closed. Like, nah, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing's getting in here. But on a day when it is going to be sunny, to definitely, open things up,
Hmm.
kind of let the furnace run maybe longer than what it normally needs to, because you're
Right.
like, I need that vitamin D. Like, I need the
Right.
sunshine type of deal. But it is very difficult. I think I was talking with a high school friend a while back about that because she lives up near my hometown, and she was like, yeah, I just didn't open up the shades. I couldn't figure out why. I felt so just blah and gross. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna open up the shades. I don't care like how cold it is. And opens them up and was standing there and like immediately like as like this hit her, she was like, wow.
Yeah.
What a shot to the system. And I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely want to make sure we open those up.
Right. Yeah. And then upping your vitamin D, I think is part of that because the sunlight is giving you vitamin D. And it's a known thing that if your vitamin D is low at any time, it will build depression. So
Yeah.
you'll become depressed because you don't have it. So
I've actually been taking like vitamin D supplements for a
mhm.
while, and for the longest time, like it said like one a day or something like that. And I was also taking a multivitamin. I was like, I still feel just blah. Like
Mhm.
this sucks. And I've got my anxiety meds as well, and but it's like it just didn't seem to be working. You know what really changed it for me was I actually dosed up one on the vitamin D. So instead of taking one, I take two of those.
Mhm.
And that little bit of change was all it took for like my level of energy to just like bump up and my just positivity to be on a higher level.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
excellent. I love to hear that. And again, it doesn't take much. It's a small adjustment that'll put you in a much better mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take too much.
No, no.
Too much will give you like nausea and vomiting and stuff like that if you take too much. So,
Yeah, I don't need that. Definitely not a thing. So, number two, focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. I like that
mhm.
one. I think that's the same thing as like focus on what you can control versus what you can't control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that goes in any season of of life on that one.
Right. Right. And looking at what you can do, and we'll go into some of these things as well, but what you can do with your family, especially if your kids are small. If you've got a toddler, you're not
Mm,
going outside right now. I mean, you're just not. You may go out for, 5, 10 minutes, but you can't keep them warm enough. And a lot of times they don't have the ability to tell you how cold they are. So you're really running a risk that I think most parents won't do. But if you can find an indoor play place and to think about it as and I think Shannon Carpenter put it best in his book, The Ultimate Stay-at-Home Dad Guide, where you look at things as an adventure. You know,
yeah.
what's our
Yep.
venture today? Well, we're going to go to we call it the jumpy place, so the trampoline park or whatever. Again, kids a little bit older than toddler, but finding a place like that and that is your adventure and getting
Yep.
your kid excited about it and then that builds your excitement usually. It may just annoy you, but this happens. But getting that excitement going so that you're ready to go and to focus on, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
And in the summer, we're not going to be doing this. We're not going to, no, we can, but we're going to be outside at play places. We're going to be at a playground. We're going to be at the beach. We're going to be in the woods. We're going to be hiking, camping, whatever. But right now, we get to go to these indoor places, which are also hopefully well lit and extra warm.
Speaking of a very interesting indoor place, did you know that in Minnesota, where the Vikings play, that you can actually go roller skating in their stadium?
No,
Yeah.
like their football stadium?
Yeah. So you can actually like they have oh, it's like a bowl type setting or whatever, but they have one section that's just like you can walk all the way around it. And
Oh,
you have to bring your own skates in, and you pay just to go roller skating. You can roller skate all the
yeah,
way around their stadium. It's really cool. I told Corey, I
yeah.
was like, I just want to go up there and go roller skating and say I got to go roller skate in an NFL stadium. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the U.S. Bank Stadium. I of
Yeah.
course I had to Google it. It's what I do. Open skating is offered from 5 to 8, and speed skating from 8 to 9. Huh,
Heck yeah.
that's hilarious. You got to
I
bring
just
your
thought
own
it was a
equipment.
unique, I thought it was just a unique way to use something that is gonna sit like once the season ends, and
Hmm.
even when they're out, for an away game, you can go skate there.
Right.
And I'm like, that's so
That's
cool.
that is cool, especially because if you enjoy skating, but I'm sure there's a lot of ice skating, which is again, one of those things you can do if it's not terribly cold. But again, weeks like this, I'm not going outside to go ice skating, but you go roller skating at the stadium. And especially if you're a Vikings fan, or a sports fan, you're like, look at this place because
Right?
stadiums are so impressive. That's amazing. No, I did not know that, obviously. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
so that was something I think it came across on Instagram or TikTok. There was somebody that was showing them doing it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is freaking awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool."
Yeah.
Some other things that I've seen that are sort of like a unique type of deal is there's also like people go to the mall and they walk, they'll do like walking around or whatever for that, which if it's a packed mall, it's a little bit difficult, but there's some malls that where, they have like a few stores that are open, but the place is pretty much abandoned aside from that. And there's one here in Cincinnati like that, and you can just literally go in, like parents will go up there with their kids, with their like little kids learning how to ride a bike or something,
Hmm.
and they'll walk around and ride a
Oh,
bike. You
that's
can just
cool.
it's pretty neat. Like yeah, and so like I mean it's lit up or what for the most part it's really dim lighting in there, but it's still got security and stuff like that. And yeah, you can go up there and walk around the place. And I'm like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But
neat.
just neat, yeah, just neat stuff like that. For me, like I like to take the kids to just fun play. Like there are toy stores where, they pretty much encourage you to like play with the toys. Sort of like Duncan's Toy Chest in Home Alone 2. Uh,
Nice.
that kind of deal. So those are always a fun place to go to. There's actually like how like you got playground equipment, like the stuff that you put in your backyard with like the really like big wood structures and whatnot.
Hmm.
A lot of those places have displays on site,
Yeah.
and there's one here in town that you can actually pay a small fee and you can play on all their displays.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, what a great way! Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
right. That is super cool.
I mean, what a great advertising.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing too is being able to experience that because a lot of times stuff like that, you want to buy it. Oh, this looks amazing. And you put it up and your kid just like, neat. I don't want to play on that. I mean, they
Yeah,
just don't use it or they use it for like a week and then they get kind of over it. And it's just like, no, no, no. I need you to, this is forever.
I
I,
just
I
spent like
paid,
2 grand on
yeah,
this. Like,
thousands of dollars. This will be here for 30 years. You need to get up there.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So that's so stuff like that. So that's kind of that nice being able to I can't control the weather, but I can control you getting to
mhm.
go to a playground indoors type of deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Focus on what you can do. Yeah. That's great.
I like the third one. Make sure you're prepared. I was thinking about this. Like, what would you do in a situation where it's cold like this and you lose power?
Hmm.
Like, what does that look like? Because obviously, I mean, you can be in the house for a while,
Yeah.
but that cold is going to start creeping in. And so,
Hmm.
you know, I was like, well, do you have a generator? Because
Right.
and can, because like one like oh we're never gonna need that, and yeah, like you're probably right, you're not gonna need that, and it is an
Hmm.
investment for sure. So it's like, all right, what are your other options? I
Hmm.
mean, do you guys have a
Yeah.
generator up there?
Not yet. No, it's because of the expense. It's just been beyond what we can do. And I thought about this a lot because we don't have a fireplace. We don't have a firebox. We don't have anything to burn anything in. We do have gas. So if we needed to, we could maybe turn on the stove. But again, that's just filling your house with fumes. And then I got a kerosene heater, which I would not want to put in the house. But I mean, worst case worse, we would have to vent it. And there's a lot about it. I've studied it in HVAC and it's not the greatest idea, but you can do it. But then you have to let cold air in and let the fume air out basically. So there's really no great way to do it at this point.
And you say you don't have a
And
fireplace either?
no,
Okay.
nothing. And how do you have a house in Wisconsin without a fireplace?
Right. What happened
I
there?
just don't understand. Now, I did have a contractor who said he was more than willing to put in a fireplace for me. I'm like,
For like
yeah, I'm
20
sure
grand
yeah, yeah,
probably.
exactly. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you are. You come in and make $20,000 off of me, and I'm not totally against it, but realistically, what we've got right now is we'll be in trouble. And the biggest problem I have is we're on a well, so our water is pumped by electricity. We wouldn't have any water, which isn't a huge problem, but then the pipes will freeze. And that is a huge problem. So, and I've already had friends whose pipes are frozen. They didn't burst, but they frozen this year, and they had electricity. They had heat,
Yeah.
but it just got too cold. So honestly, I can't say that we're really as prepared as I would like to be.
Yeah.
But I would probably be a prepper if I let myself, if I because that's my just being hyper vigilant. PTSD does it. Anxiety does it. You have to be prepared for every single situation. Do I have water? Yeah, I have water. Do I have food? I have some food. I do not have enough food for 6 people for more than a day or two, but we could survive if we had to. But it's going to be awful when the power goes out. It's going to be terrible. So our budget is set up to add a generator to the house. And honestly, I want to get solar. I want to get somebody out here to give me an idea if it would actually work, because I've got friends who have solar on their house and they've got trees around and whatever, but it gets enough light to give them enough power. They're
Yeah.
not like paying back to the grid or anything, but they have enough. And I'm like, any little thing we could do just to get us through like 3 or 4 days of no power
Yeah.
to keep us warm. Because if it goes out in the whole region, I mean, I guess I'll put Marnie in the Suburban and tell her to go spend the weekend with her mom, and I'll stay here at the house and try to keep it
Yeah.
warm.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my thing. Was probably gonna be to pack up and go to the nearest person who has power, type of
Hmm.
deal, and work
Yeah.
that out that way. I know that we've had power outages before where basically we're like, all right, we're just gonna go sit in the car and like charge up our phones for a little while
Hmm.
and go that route. So
And
yeah,
being prepared for just regular days. Now they talk
yep.
about it's great because in Wales, I bought myself and my son wellies, a warm waterproof coat and some warm fluffy socks. We'll go out and have some long rainy walks, and I'm like, that's not a winter thing. You can't do that. Not here. You would die. It'd be too cold.
A
But
rainy
having the
walk.
gear,
Yuck.
right? Yeah, but they stay the wellies, which rubber boots will keep you dry, and I love stomping in mud puddles, and the kids loved it. But having the gear you need, which I love doing, again, PTSD, so I love being prepared. So we do have a box, and I'm learning how to do this because it's really funny that the people here local are very, very loving and giving in their way, but they really don't teach you how to live here. It's a bit of you'll figure it out or you'll leave, and it's real. I get that feeling all the time. So I'm like, okay, so so I got to put a shovel in the truck, and I want to put a shovel in the car and keep those, and then an extra set of winter clothes and an emergency blanket and some flares and some heat sources and some snacks. Because
Yep.
the one guy was like, well, you got to have snacks in your car. I'm like, well, yeah, I got 4 kids. Of course I have snacks in my car. He goes, no, no, no. I mean, for if you get caught in a snowbank. And he looks at Marnie's Prius and he's like, if she runs off the road and goes into a snowbank, she's gone. And nobody's going to see her, especially if it's snowing. So unless they saw her go in, she's done. So she needs to
Yikes.
have snacks and something to drink for like a day or two. And that's even happened in Georgia. We had the big blizzard that was all iced over everything.
Right.
People were stuck in their car for a full day. So little things like that, just to be ready for what the weather will throw at you. Snow gloves, which again, I didn't know what those really were. We just had gloves, like cotton gloves. Those are awful. Those are useless. I had to buy new gloves for everybody and have to keep doing it
That's what I
because
love about Costco.
listen.
Costco's got great gloves.
Oh man. And
Great.
and coats
Yeah.
and winter. I mean, it is amazing. The prices are
They
incredible.
have their
Just
ski
my mind.
gloves that they sell are so good. I love them.
So you know what choppers are? The big mittens.
Yeah.
They're called
They call them
choppers.
choppers? I know
Yeah,
the
well,
mittens.
that's what, but they're like real big for like if you're using your snowblower. So
Oh,
they're
okay. Yeah.
the fluffy inside, deerskin covered, and
Oh,
they're
yes. Okay.
really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
You can even wear them over your regular gloves. So Costco has a pair, and they were $35. So I didn't buy them for myself because I don't like buying stuff for myself. But they have finger slots in the mitten.
Yes.
So you're actually putting your hands in a glove inside of this giant mitten. Oh man, and they're long, so they'll fit up under your coat. I'm like, these people
Do they also
have
do they also
everything.
pull away so that you get your fingers?
No,
Ever seen those?
no. This
So
is
I had
think
a
I've
pair
heard of this.
of mittens that actually had like the finger holes in it,
Mhm.
and so I got a pair of like nice like slightly thin but thick enough gloves to put through that, and then you
Yeah.
put the mitten over it. And so like when I need to, whoop, and I still got my fingers covered and I could do
Yeah.
stuff. Love those. That was one of that was a go-to because like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go outside of the car, put the mittens on. Oh, I'm gonna
Yes.
drive, take them off. Like
Keep the gloves on. Yeah. Yeah. And
exactly.
you can flip the mittens off like Wolverine. Shing. Yeah.
Yeah, there,
Yeah.
that too.
That's my favorite part about it. I do that every single time I put my stupid gloves on because my mother-in-law gave me these really nice wool ones and they are amazing, but I didn't wear them a lot in Georgia. I'm like, these are great. And she's like, that's for when you come up here,
Yeah.
for like visits and what have you. And I'm like, cool, because I can't wear these. They're too hot. There's no. And now I'm like, yeah, get me my wool gloves, my wool mittens. And
I
as
figure
in
with you
Georgia,
put mittens, boxing,
yes, yeah,
killing.
yes, yes. What is that thing Spider-Man said in game where he's like Alpha Kill Protocol or whatever, and his suit starts killing everything around him. And he's like, whoa, whoa, stop. No, what are you doing? What are you, oh my God, stop. And
Yes.
he's just like, no, you put suit in protect me and kill everybody mode. And it was hilarious because Peter Parker is like 15
Yeah.
and suddenly he's murdering people left and right.
Right. No
That's its
kidding.
own thing. That has nothing to do with winter preparation. So
All right. So
not
I
too
think
far.
we kind of gotten into embrace the change for the season just based on like doing things. And five was plan. I mean, like, I think we've talked about plans.
Knowing what you're going to do, like Friday night is movie night. That's perfect. Now
Yeah.
they put a film night on a Friday night with a picnic tee on a blanket on the floor.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
that's nice. I'm too old for that though. I'm not sitting on the floor. But just knowing what you have coming up and having something in place for it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that works well. Take control and embrace positivity. I
Hmm.
think a lot of times staying positive probably is definitely one of those things that is a choice.
Right? It is.
And can definitely get grumpy about, especially if you're like, dang it, here comes the snowplow again, and they're gonna block my car in. Ugh, after I just spent hours shoveling. You jerks. Thanks for plowing my yard or plowing my street.
You need a snowplow. You should be shoveling the stuff. You should have a machine for that.
I do
Dude,
now.
my I taught my 12-year-old because it snowed maybe 3-4 inches, and I'm like, let's go out and shovel it. And he's doing it. I'm like, I'll get the snowblower out. I get it out, and I brought him over, and I'm like, here, this is how it's just two handles you hold down, and this is how it does, and you crank it to blow it the other way. And I walked with him back and forth on the driveway on several things, and he was having it. He said he got a little scared when he got close to the street because he didn't know that it was going to stop when he needed it to stop. And I'm like, dude, you just let go, and it doesn't. It just it breaks immediately.
Yep.
But we don't have many cars on our street, so I'm like, even if you ran in the street, it's very, very unlikely anything's gonna be out there. But getting him to do it was amazing. It was
Yeah, that's
such a
great.
rite of passage, man. I just
Heck
wanted
yeah.
to share that. You guys teach your kids how to use machines, and boy, they'll love you for it.
I
So,
think
but
that,
anyway,
yeah, well, teaching your kids how to do anything like that's a whole nother topic we could get onto about
yes,
when to start doing that. We should maybe do that as well because I definitely have some some things
yeah,
to talk about with that. We won't go there because I want to keep that can of worms over here on the shelf. Uh, we don't have that kind of time.
nope, not
Um,
today.
so another one on here is enjoying bedtime with your children. I feel like this is pretty much like an all year round thing. Like
Hmm.
to be honest,
Should be, yeah,
I I don't know. Like that one just doesn't seem to really hit for a winter type of deal.
yeah.
I love getting in bed with my kids and reading books and
Hmm.
just having that time to cuddle with them and talk with them about what's going on and just connecting with them in that way. So yeah, that's an all year round thing, to be honest.
Hmm.
The other thing on here, so this is the one I like. The one is think of activities that you could do inside. That doesn't have to be inside your house. I mean, we were
Right.
talking a little bit about different things, like this, like Martin Luther King Day, for instance. Like it was cold as all get out. We were not going marching or anything like that. There was no
Hmm.
way. I did see people
Hmm.
out doing that. Kudos to them, honestly,
Right.
but there's
Right.
no way I'm taking a child out in that. But Hezekiah and Ruby have been wanting to go to the movie theater. Like they actually had like gift cards for that, and they've
Oh,
been really
sweet.
wanting to go see Sonic 3.
Yeah.
And Corey was like, I don't care to go see that. She's like, I'm out. No, thank you. I'll stay
Come
home.
on, Corey. Be
She
funny.
she was she was like, I can get some work done here at the house. So the three of us went and saw the movie. It was hilarious.
Hmm.
I liked it. I liked it way better than the second one. So actually the other two really, but anyway, that was fun just to do
Hmm.
and just a great experience. That's the first time I've actually taken just the two of them to the movies,
Nice.
just the three of us. So
Oh,
bought
that's
some
cool.
popcorn, bought some soda, sat in the
Hmm.
middle of them, shared popcorn back and forth, and
Yeah.
found out that my daughter really, really likes popcorn compared to my son. So she was pretty happy I'd eaten what I wanted to. I was like, here's the bag. She's like, the rest is for me. I can eat it. I'm like, yeah, go to town.
And
Of course,
away
when
it
I got
went.
home and we are like, hey, we're gonna eat dinner, she's like, I'm not all that hungry. I'm like, yep, there's a reason for that.
I ate 7 pounds of popcorn. I don't need anything
And Corey's like,
else.
why are you not hungry? I'm like, that's my fault. So
It's
no harm,
all
no foul.
fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Movies are great too because a lot of times you'll have it on like a Tuesday where it's the cheap movie. It's like, $5 or whatever. And it's
Yep.
usually a kid's movie is open. That's always a great idea. And again, plan it. Make that your thing. Hey, Tuesday mornings, we're going to go see a movie. Even if it's the same movie you saw last week, it's the experience, being out together.
Yeah.
And hopefully spending very little money.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause,
Well, and
man,
seeing a movie on a big screen, like that was the other thing I was really happy about going seeing Sonic 3 because there's so much that goes on in those movies
mhm,
anyways, and to
yeah,
see it on a big screen, especially that one, I mean, you could tell they had taken money from 1 and 2 and really shoved it into 3 to like make it this big deal. And I was just enjoying the cinematography on a large scale,
yeah.
and
Wasn't
that
it
was fun.
Keanu Reeves was the voice of Shadow? What is?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was the voice of Shadow. I had
Yeah.
like flashbacks of Neo and John Wick while watching
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but it was good nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, and I say, I think it really adds something to it because he's got so much charisma, so much, what's the word, gravitas, I guess. He's got that,
Yes.
just, that he's in the room kind of thing. So I don't want to watch the Sonic movie either. I will, if the kids wanted to watch it, I would, but I don't love Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, I was a little bit older when it came out, and so it never really hit me as like a an icon of my childhood or anything like that.
Right.
But Idris Elba as
Oh,
excuse
he's
me,
great as
Sonic
Knuckles.
fans, Knuckles. That's it. I
Yeah,
was
as
going to say the
Knuckles.
punchy guy, but that would have gotten me kicked out of every geek club that I'm a member of. But
Yeah.
yeah, and just again, and he has that, and I'm like, and this is a kids movie,
Hmm.
and yet you've got these powerhouse voice
Yeah.
actors basically coming
Yep.
in to
And
just
then
rock it. So
and then Jim Carrey, he's playing two roles. Jim Carrey is fantastic,
he
honestly.
is.
I
He's
love him.
amazing.
Like he does just amazing I mean, like him as the Grinch. Like he can actually do that face without any makeup on, which is
Yeah.
I've seen him do. And
Yes.
him as both his grandfather and and Eggman in this third one,
Mhm.
they actually at one point break the fourth wall.
Do they?
It's fantastic.
Nice.
Talking about one person playing two characters at the same time. And they like
Yeah.
look right at the audience when they say it. I was dying. I was like, this is so funny. But he's so great. Like I've always enjoyed him. I mean, everything from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective to The Mask and
Oh wow, yeah.
Liar Liar, all that stuff. I mean, like
Even the
he's done
Riddler.
so many. Oh, the
You know,
Riddler, he was
when he
so
was,
good as
it was,
yeah.
and again, this is a time when we didn't have any superhero movies. We really didn't have much to go on, and Batman was like the big thing. And for you to get that part and to just nail it so well,
Yeah.
it was perfect.
Yeah, it was he definitely is one of the best Riddlers that I've, seen play that part for
Hmm.
real.
Yeah.
And then well, and two, like I kind of mixed up him with another person when I was thinking about the fact that he's doing all these different characters. Like, oh yeah, like there's a whole like show about Despicable, or like not Despicable, but some sort of thing where this character guy plays all these different characters, and and like the kids were looking at me weird, and I was like, oh, never mind. I was like, that was Neil Patrick Harris. I was like, he too also does stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that was just the fact that I'm like confusing the two of those. It still works.
Yeah, it
It's
was
just with who they are.
Doctor Strangelove. What was the heck of that? I want to look it up.
Doctor Robotnik. You're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
All
Yes,
good.
that's it. That was
I
it
got you. I
exactly.
got your
I
back.
swear.
I got your back.
And then he
Yeah.
played uh, um, against, I guess, or with Nathan Fillion as Captain Hammer in that movie. Do you remember that?
In what movie?
In the uh, Doctor, what you just said, Doctor.
In Sonic?
No, no, no. Neil Patrick Harris
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris.
as Doctor. What we just talked about,
Sorry.
and I
That
already
wasn't
forgot it.
he
Damn it
wasn't
all.
he wasn't Dr. Robotnik. Oh yeah.
Doctor Robotnik. I mean, Doctor
That's
Horrible.
yeah,
Doctor
Dr.
Horrible
Robotnik
sing
was
along
Jim
blog.
Carrey.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Doctor
no,
Horrible sing along blog. That was it. My bad. And anybody that
Neil,
knows it knows that it's hilarious. It was fantastic. And Nathan Fillion is one of my favorite actors just because of the way he presents stuff. He's
mm,
always funny to me. He always brings this humor that like doesn't fit anybody else. And every time he would go, well, I'm going to, and by hammer, I mean my, and he would point
hmm.
down to his penis. And it was
Well,
like
I
exactly
was
as
talking
cocky
about
as you
it
need to be.
for Neil Patrick Harris. I was talking about a series of unfortunate events is
Oh, yeah.
the show. That's what I was talking about because he does play all these different characters in
Lemony
that.
Snickets.
Lemony Snickets, yeah. So definitely good stuff there. All right. Well, we better start
We were all
wrapping up
over
the
the
last of
place,
the.
right?
I know we
Yeah.
are, but we're still. Hey, you know what though? We are on task, which is way better.
And we're being positive. We're bringing positivity to people's lives.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're
Way less
welcome.
gloomy than the last episode. So, uh,
Yes. Yes.
look after yourself. I think that
Mhm.
that's also a year-long thing for sure, but definitely in this time, like, I just everything from reaching out to people to having some sort of communication
Mhm.
on a regular basis is super important. That's what
Self-care.
the dad lounge is really good for. Dad's Gotta Talk is really good for.
Mhm.
We got the book club, the webinar. Like
Mhm.
there's so many different
And
avenues
here,
in
you're welcome.
here. Yeah.
We
So
are a gift. This is your early Christmas gift. It's us. But I mean, look after yourself is my thing. Self-care is best care.
yep.
And making sure you keep up with it when the season changes. Again, plan for it and know, hey, this is how I'm going to feel. What do I need to do? Or more importantly, as parents, this is how my kids are going to feel.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, this time of year, I get really wrapped up in myself. I get very self-centered because I have to. I have to take care of myself or I'll just, detonate. So your kids are affected the same way. And
Yeah.
seeing your amazing, happy, joyful, wonderful kids just having the blahs, having a case of the Mondays, and just walking
Yeah.
around like they hate everything. They just want to go to bed. They want to eat. They want to hibernate. And you get it. And so looking after yourself to give you all that energy so that you can take care of your kids, you can help them be positive. You know?
Yeah. And the last one on here is Don't Suffer in Silence, which I think falls in line with number 9 as well. But I think too, along with that is, you know, yeah, you get to that point where just sort of like this time of season grinds you down and you're
Hmm.
stuck in the house, especially
Yeah.
if you've got little ones that aren't in school and it's like, all right, they're driving me up the wall. We can't get out of the house to go play like we normally do. What's that look like? Honestly, if you've got other dads close to you, like reaching out and being like, like, do you guys want to get together and do something?
Hmm.
Or if it's, I just don't even know what to do, reaching out to, on like Discord or in the Facebook group and just being like, hey, like, I'm really drawing a blank here right now, trying to figure out something to do because when it comes to this time of year, I know like when my kids were not in school yet, I would get so annoyed with them and they weren't even really doing anything. Like,
Hmm.
but I was so annoyed with them because I was like, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in this box with these like two just bouncy balls that won't stop. And what do I
Right.
do? And it sometimes it's just as simple as being like, all right, we're just gonna get out of the house. And yes, they might act a little bit crazy, but like maybe we can all act crazy together and just have some fun with it
Right.
and do something. Like just give that ability to be like, all right, we're getting outside of the house. If
Uh-huh.
anything does happen, it's not in my house, so maybe I don't have to clean it as much, but that kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully.
just coming up with that, like for instance, like maybe there is a mall, and you're like, I've never taken the kids to the mall before. Great, let's go experience that. Let's give them the opportunity
Get
to
it.
like see some of that stuff. Like, hey, this is Amazon in the real world, type of deal.
Nice.
I took my daughter to the mall for the first time a while back, and we went to we were walking around and we came across a bath bomb store, and she loves bath bombs. And
Oh,
we went
cool.
in there. There was nobody else in there. We go in there, and the owner and this other lady are in there, and I was like, yeah, I was like, this is her first time in the store. Oh, we'll make this big, and like they did all kinds of really cool things and let her test out some of them. That's the kind of stuff like the mall
That's
people
sweet.
love seeing kids in that kind of context to come in. If it's something that's interactive like that, where
Hmm.
they can show off their stuff, which of course too,
Yeah.
like you're like, oh, like I'm gonna buy something just to like support this, the store
Right.
type
Right.
deal.
This
So
fun experience. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that I guess that's my piece of advice for ending this episode.
Sounds like good advice to me.
Yeah. Well, hey, hopefully everybody stays warm and
Hmm.
that enjoy what's going on around you because it will eventually melt and go away, that kind of thing. And it will get warm again. And for those of you who are excited for the next sporting season, baseball is on its way. Thank God.
Right around
So
the corner.
ready.
Yes.
So ready for baseball season. But aside from that, we will talk to you all next week.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.